Marvel fans, pop your champagne. It's officially been confirmed. Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios are going back to San Diego Comic-Con. Let's go! And so in this video, I want to break down everything I expect to be announced at the show. I absolutely think that Marvel Studios is going big, kind of because they have to, because the MCU has been pretty weak lately. And I've been covering Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios for 7+ years, so I think I know how they do presentations by now, and I think I know what they're thinking over there. Okay, let's get into the actual preview of the content of the show. And I strongly feel that the beginning of the show is going to involve projects that are very close to release. Again, I've covered Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios for a long time at this point, and that is usually the pattern that they follow when they do any sort of a stage presentation. So movies that are supposed to come out next year are likely getting trailers. This is likely to include Brave New World, Thunderbolts, probably Daredevil Born Again as well, as they've been shooting a lot of that, and we've seen some really crazy set photos. I can't wait to see the trailer for that thing. I also think it's possible we get a trailer for Ironheart, if that is still a thing. And we're also very likely to get a trailer for Agatha Coven of Chaos, because that is still a show that they didn't cancel that is happening this year. So basically, within this first part of the presentation, I expect a lot of trailers, a lot of detail, because these projects are very close to completion and they're coming out really soon. Now, I do think there will be another movie that's wrapped into this first part of the presentation, because I think Marvel does actually want 3 films to release next year. Captain America Brave New World is absolutely releasing, and it seems like Thunderbolts is very far along as well. That is very likely releasing next year too. But I think Marvel really wants another film, and they really want a film that's kind of more of a sure hit than those other 2 movies, because both Captain America Brave New World and the Thunderbolts kind of come out of that Phase 4 mentality where Marvel thought they could literally make anything and everybody's going to show up to the movie. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you got an announcement about either the Fantastic Four movie or Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4, and Marvel officially announced that one of those 2 movies is going to release next year. Now, I don't think either of these movies have shot any material yet, but it is possible Feige brings the cast out, maybe has some hyped up concept art up on the screen for everybody to see. But that's what I think is going to be the first part of the presentation. Trailers, release dates, and maybe some minor updates. Then we're getting into part 2 of the presentation. I think this is where you're going to get a big update about Blade and possibly the announcement of the Midnight Suns film. Now, partially this is just because the whole thing with Blade has been super confusing, and I don't think it's going to be ready to actually release next year, so it's likely now being pushed into 2026. But Marvel wants fans to know that Blade is going to happen, that Mahershala Ali is still down with Marvel Studios, and in fact, they have a big plan for Mahershala and a lot of the supernatural characters from the MCU. That's where the Midnight Suns movie comes in. And a lot of people have talked about this, a lot of rumors, insider scoopers talking about Midnight Suns. I think it's absolutely real, and I do think Mahershala Ali is doing Blade and going to go right into filming Midnight Suns, and he's going to become a very big part of what Marvel Studios is doing. I also think we'll get updates about either Fantastic Four or Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. Like, again, one of those movies I think is going to be in the first part of the presentation because they're going to streamline it and they're going to try to get it out late next year. But the other movie is likely to be in this second part of the presentation where they give updates, they talk about potential release dates, but it's really more about hype and getting people excited about the possibility of this thing being dope. I also think it's possible they do something with Deadpool and Wolverine in this section of the show, because Deadpool and Wolverine's going to literally be releasing that weekend at Comic-Con. And I just don't see Kevin Feige wasting an opportunity when he has all those eyeballs on him and Marvel Studios for Comic-Con to not promote Deadpool and Wolverine further. So maybe you get Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds to come on stage. That would be hype. People would really like it. But maybe they go even crazier than that and bring some of the cameoed characters and sort of soft spoil some stuff just to generate more hype and get people excited about going to check out Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, my fanboy wish here is that they bring RDJ and Tobey Maguire up on stage with Hugh Jackman and with Ryan Reynolds, and they tease out that those guys are actually in some kind of crazy post-credit scene, and like, holy shit, the multiversal Avengers is actually coming together. Oh my God. Now, the third section of the presentation, I think, is going to be dedicated to the Avengers movies and to updating the plan when it comes to Avengers 5 and Avengers Secret Wars. Because 2 years ago, the last time they were on stage, they announced the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, and they had announced that both of those movies were coming out in the same year. And they've been delayed. There's obviously a lot of changes going on there. There's the whole Jonathan Majors situation, Marvel potentially going away from Kang as a big bad of the Multiverse Saga. And I do believe Kevin Feige will take this opportunity to tell us the new release dates for the Avengers movies, to hype us up about why we should be excited about Avengers 5, possibly even reveal the new title for the movie. And I've even speculated that Feige might do this thing where instead of actually addressing the situation with Jonathan Majors, he talks more about this situation from the perspective of the characters within the MCU. Meaning he might be like, okay, last time I was on stage with you guys, He Who Remains had made it inevitable that we would lead to the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, but then Loki changed the story. And now Avengers 5 is called Time Runs Out or Eternity War, and it's going to be really crazy, and it's going to have this huge cast of characters. Like, I think they have to take the situation with the Avengers movies and they have to turn it around and get us excited about it again. Because remember, 2 years ago, the whole reason they put those two Avengers movies on the board at Comic-Con was to get us excited. We were like, oh my God, they are doing Avengers movies again, and holy crap, Secret Wars is real. And that hype has just turned to confusion and trepidation over the last 2 years. So Marvel needs to change that. They need to re-inject hype into Secret Wars and into Avengers 5. Now, the last thing I think they're going to do, or the fourth part of this presentation, is going to have very little information, but a lot of hype. In the past, this is where Kevin Feige just puts up the Phase 6, Phase 7 logo thing and just drops a bunch of the logos for different movies. And I actually do anticipate that to be something that Feige does. And I think the movies he's going to put up on the board will be Doctor Strange 3, Thor 5, Shang-Chi 2, and a Scarlet Witch movie, which may or may not also be the Young Avengers movie. Those are all movies that a lot of insiders and scoopers have been talking about, and I think movies that will help to inform the characters of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we get ready for Avengers 5. Maybe we'll even get some cool titles for the movie that give us nerds a bunch of things to speculate about and theory craft with. And it's also possible, even though unlikely, that amongst these different movies that will be announced, we will get something officially with the X-Men or the mutants. And I think this is kind of rare because there's a lot of confusion about what might be happening with the X-Men movie. This could be a film that actually exists before Secret Wars, in which we are exploring a Fox X-Men team, maybe even the X-Men of the universe that Monica Rambeau leaves and gets trapped into at the end of the Marvels. Because it's either that or we're going into a different universe that will be brought into the MCU 616 in the soft rebooted MCU after Secret Wars. But I do think X-Men or a mutant project would be super hyped up for fans, and I think that is something that Kevin wants. He wants fans to get excited. So I wouldn't be surprised if they dangle a little X-Men or a mutant project at San Diego Comic-Con at the end of July. And we will definitely be streaming over on our streaming channel, covering this that Saturday when Marvel will likely be at Hall H, making all these dope presentations slash trailers slash announcements slash all that. So come on by for that. Those are usually our biggest streams of the year. People love checking that out. Not everybody can make it over to San Diego Comic-Con, and even a fewer bunch get to make it into Hall H. But you can come check it out, experience it with us, get excited with other fans. I think it's going to be freaking crazy. Let me know what you think about all these different previews, and as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.